Good morning, children. How are you all? Hope you all are taking a good care of yourself. So, let us start today's mathematics class. This is class 10th, subject mathematics, chapter number 10, circles, lecture number 2. Children, content I am going to cover from NCERT. Children, in lecture number 1 of chapter number 10, circles, I made you understand the definition of circle and all the important terms which are related to circle like radius, diameter, chord, circumference, arc, minor and major both, sector, minor and major both, and minor segment and major segment. After that, children, I made you understand theorem 10.1. Correct, children? I explained you the concept of tangent also. So now in today's lecture, lecture number 2 of chapter number 10, circles, the topics which I am going to cover, they are: number 1, I am going to make you recall the difference between tangent and the secant to a circle. After that, I will be recalling you theorem 10.1. Then children, we will be learning theorem 10.2 and ultimately we will be doing sums based on theorem 10.1 and theorem 10.2 from exercise 10.2. Correct, children? Children, in my previous lecture, I made you understand that basically there are 3 cases arise according to the position of a line AB with respect to the circle. So from case number 2 as well as from case number 3, we can better understand the difference between secant and tangent. So, children, here you can see that there is a circle and there is one line also drawn. What is the name of this line? That is line AB. Here you can see that whenever there are basically 2 common points, here you can see P and Q. These are 2 common points. There are 2 common points P and Q between the circle and the line AB. Then in this case, AB intersect complete circle at 2 points whose names are point P as well as point Q. Then children, in this case, this line is known as the secant of the circle. Fine. When there are 2 common points P and Q between a circle and a line AB, then in that case, that particular line who is going to intersect the circle at 2 points, that is known as the secant of the circle. Correct, children? Now let us talk about tangent. When there is only one common point between the circle and the line, in that case, that particular line is known as the tangent to the circle. Here you can see that there is a circle and this is line AB. Children, you can see that this line AB is going to intersect this circle exactly at one point. This point is known as the point of contact. Fine. And this complete line AB is known as tangent to a circle at point P. Correct, children? Fine. Now children, after recalling the difference between the secant and the tangent, I am going to make you recall theorem 10.1. What does theorem 10.1 say? The tangent to any point of a circle is perpendicular to the radius through the point of contact. Or in other words, we can say that radius is perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. So how did I make you understand this theorem? Let us recall it quickly. What is given in it? We will be having a circle given with center point O. And there is a tangent AB. Children, you can see this is a line which is actually the tangent to the circle. Why? Because it is going to intersect the circle at point P, which is actually known as point of contact. Fine. So what we are going to prove? We are going to prove that OP, which is the radius of the circle, is perpendicular to the tangent. So we are going to prove OP is perpendicular to tangent. For that, children, we are going to do some construction work. What we have to do? We are going to take a point Q other than this point of contact P on this tangent line. Okay. After that, we are going to join this point Q to the center point. So we have got a line segment OQ. Correct, children? Now let us switch to its proof. Here, children, you can see that point Q is a point on the tangent AB other than the point of contact, that is P. Fine. So here you can see that Q point is basically lying outside the circle. Yesterday only I explained you, suppose if this point is not going to lie outside the circle, if it is going to lie inside the circle. Here I have drawn one more circle to make you better understand. Suppose this point Q is going to lie inside the circle. Then in that case, AP, which is considered as the tangent, that would basically become the secant of the circle. Why? Because secant is that line which is going to intersect the circle at 2 points. So in that case, AB will definitely be shifted like this and it will intersect the circle at 2 points. Okay. So if point Q, which is another point assumed by us on the tangent AB, we are going to take that point outside the circle. If we are going to take it inside the circle, then AB will not be the tangent. In fact, it will become the secant of the circle. Okay. So this is all about explanation part. Whatever I have explained you, the same I have written. If Q lies inside the circle, then AB becomes a secant. But what has been given in the question? We have been given that AB is a tangent. Okay. So it will not be a tangent in that case when Q point lie inside the circle. So OQ intersect the circle. Here I have assumed that it is going to intersect the circle at point R. Okay, this is point R. Now children, just look at this diagram. Here you can see that OP is equal to OR. Why? Because both are radius of the circle. But if I talk about complete OQ, OQ is basically the summation of OR and RQ. So can I say the length of OQ is greater than the radius length? Yes, of course, we can say. Why? Because OQ we got when we added RQ in OR. Correct, children? So the same I have written over here. OP is equal to OR. Both are radii of the circle. How can I split OQ? OQ is equal to OR plus RQ. So it implies to OQ is greater than OR. Of course, because when I added RQ in OR, then and only then I got OQ. So means the length of OQ is greater than OR. But OR is equal to OP as they both are the radii of the circle. So it means OQ is greater than OP as well. Correct. So thus OP is shorter than any other segment joining the point O to any point on AB. Fine children, have a look. As I have taken the point Q, suppose at place of Q I am going to take some another point. Here I am taking S, then T, then U, then V. Whatever point you are going to take outside the circle, all the line segment which will be made while joining the center point to those very points, the length of those line segment will always be greater than OP length. Correct, children? And as we know that the shortest distance between a point and a line is always perpendicular distance from that very point to the line. This I explained you through this diagram also. Please have a look on this diagram. Here suppose there is one point. This is that line segment. You have just taken one point on this line segment. Let it be R and let this point be P. So this PQ will be considered as the shortest distance. Okay. If you are going to take millions of points on this line segment and you are going to join them with point P, every time you will be getting these line segments whose lengths are bigger than PR. Correct, children? So what can we conclude through this? We can conclude that OP is perpendicular to AB. And what is OP, children? OP is nothing but the radius. And what is AB? AB is nothing but the tangent. Okay. So we can say that radius is always perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. Correct, children? Fine. Now children, from theorem 10.1 we have learnt that radius is always perpendicular to the tangent to a circle at the point of contact. Okay. Now I am going to make you understand theorem 10.2. Please be alert. The length of the tangents drawn from an external point to a circle are same. Means they are equal in length. Yesterday only I made you understand whenever we will be having any external point given, then maximum how many tangents can be drawn to a circle? Correct. 2 tangents. Here you can see, children, AP and AQ. They are 2 tangents to the circle. Correct. One more thing, children, as I have drawn this AP The extended part also you can see. But always remember, the length of the tangent will be considered up to P point only, which is actually the point of contact. If somebody asks you, you just measure the length of the tangent, then you are going to keep your ruler over here and you will be measuring the length up to P point only. So this is complete AP and this will be AQ. Do not consider this complete length as tangent length. Okay. You have to consider from the external point up to the point of contact. Fine, children? So as I have to prove that the length of the tangents from the external point, they are equal. So means I have to prove that AP is equal to AQ. So let us start it. What is given in this question? Let AP and AQ be two tangents from the external point A to a circle with center O. This has been given to us. And what we have to prove? We have to prove that AP is equal to AQ. Correct? Because they both are the tangents and we have to prove that the length of the tangent from the external point are equal. So children, to prove this theorem, we are going to do some construction. What we are going to do? Have a look please. We are joining OP, OQ and AO. This is the part of the construction which I have done. Now I am going to explain you its proof. The written content I will show you, but before that I am explaining you. Have a look. Now I have got basically two triangles. Name them. This is APO. Another one is AQO. Children, as in theorem 10.1, I made you understand that radius is always perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. You know OP and OQ, they both are radius. Correct? And AP and AQ, they both are the tangents from the external point to the circle. So definitely OP is perpendicular to AP and OQ is perpendicular to AQ. Why? Because radius is perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. Fine. Now they both are of 90 degree. This is common part. AO is common. Another one, OP is equal to OQ. Reason behind, because they both are radius. So can you tell me which congruency rule I am going to apply over here? Correct. I am going to apply RHS congruency. One right angle, another hypotenuse and any of the sides. So through this I have proved that both of these triangles, triangle APO and AQO, are congruent to each other. So by CPCT means by corresponding parts of the congruent triangle, I can say that this angle must be equal to this angle. Okay, this angle must be equal to this angle. You can see here they both are equal. Fine. By CPCT, I have proved it that they both are equal. So ultimately, the length of the tangent will also be equal. That is, AP must be equal to AQ. Correct, children? Now please look at its proof. So the proof which I have just explained you through diagram, the same I am going to read it out for you. Please be alert. Children, as we know through theorem 10.1, radius is perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. So what can we say? That AP and AQ, as they both are tangents, and OP and OQ, they both are radii of the circle. So OP must be perpendicular to AP. I have just shown you in the diagram. And OQ is also perpendicular on AQ. So now let us take those very triangles which I took. Triangle OPA and triangle OQA. I am going to prove them congruent, so that I can prove that the length of the tangent from the external point are equal. OP is equal to OQ. They both are radii of the circle. Angle OPA is equal to OQA is equal to 90 degree. I have just shown you this. Look at here on this diagram. Angle OPA is equal to OQA. Both are of 90 degree as radius is perpendicular to the tangent. Fine, children. And OA is equal to OA. They both are. This is common side. So what can I say? That triangle OPA is congruent to triangle OQA by RHS congruency rule. Okay. So thus by CPCT, what is its full form? Corresponding parts of congruent triangles. We can say that AP is equal to AQ. Hence proved. Correct, children? Now, children, on the basis of these two theorems, we are going to do the questions from exercise 10.2. Before I start questions, let us recall the statement of both the theorems. Because in exam, you are not supposed to write down theorem 10.1, theorem 10.2. No. You will have to write the complete statement of the theorem. Fine. So, what is theorem 10.1 says? That radius is always perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. And theorem 10.2 says that length of the tangent from the external point to the circle is always equal. Okay. So now we are going to switch to question number 2. In the given figure I am going to show you on another sheet. If TP and TQ are two tangents to a circle with center point O, so that angle POQ is 110 degree, means this is an obtuse angle, then find angle PTQ. Which angle we have to find out? Angle PTQ. Now children, look at this diagram of this question number 2 of exercise 10.2. What has been given in this question? We have been given that angle POQ is equal to 110 degree. This is POQ. You can see this is a 110 degree. And TP and TQ, they both are the tangent to the circle. This has been given to us. Okay. Fine. And what we have to find out? We have to find out the measurement of angle PTQ. Means as per the diagram, I have to calculate the measurement of angle 4. Okay. So let us start. Children, as you know that here OP, please look here, OP and OQ, they both are radii of the circle. And according to theorem 10.1, we know that radius is perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. Here TP is tangent and OP is perpendicular on TP. In the same manner, OQ is radius and OQ is perpendicular on TQ. So means they both must be of 90 degree. This complete angle is of 110 degree. So I have to calculate this angle, angle 4. Children, just have a look. POQT, will it not be a quadrilateral? Of course. And in quadrilateral, you know the measurement of 3 angles. So can't you find out measurement of angle number 4? While applying angle sum property of a quadrilateral. The same concept I am going to apply over here. So as angle POQ is of 110 degree, TP and TQ are both the tangents to the circle, and OP is perpendicular to PT and OQ is perpendicular to TQ. Why? Because radius is perpendicular to tangent. OP is perpendicular to TP, OQ is perpendicular to TQ. Okay. Now I have just applied angle sum property of a quadrilateral. Now in quadrilateral POQT, I have just given the name. You could write like this also. Like if you want to write, you can write like this also, OPT, then OQT, fine, then PTQ. In this way also you could write the name of the angles. So for your convenience, I have given them the names, that is angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 plus angle 4 is equal to 360 degree. What's the reason? Angle sum property of a quadrilateral. Now I know angle 1 is of 90 degree, angle 2 is also of 90 degree as per theorem 10.1. Angle 3 we have been given 110 degree and I have to calculate angle 4. So their sum is 290 degree plus angle 4 is equal to 360 degree. So angle 4 is equal to 360 minus 290, that is 70 degree. So thus we have calculated the angle PTQ which is of 70 degree while applying angle sum property of a quadrilateral. Correct, students? Suppose children, if you do not want to go for the solution of this question like this, as I have explained you using angle sum property of a quadrilateral, then you can apply that proof also of theorem 10.2 which I have just explained you. In that you have to just go for the construction also. So you can join O to T. Then you pick one triangle, either the above one or the below one. You have to just prove them congruent. I have just explained you how to prove them congruent now. See, both the angle 1 and angle 2 will be of 90-90. OT is common. Now we can take that TP is also equal to TQY, because the length of the tangent are equal from the external point to the point of contact. Okay. So either you could take this, or you can take this side, means TP is equal to TQ. This is common, and another one is radius. So by triple S criteria also you can prove both of them as congruent. Fine, children. Now after congruency, you know that this part, that is POT, must be equal to QOT. So what can I say? That this part will be of 55 degree. Angle 1, you know, it will be of 90 degree. So 55 plus 90, it would become 145. Now you can apply angle sum property on triangle POT. So through that you can calculate this half part of angle 4, that is 35. Just make it double. So complete angle will be of 70 degree. That depends on you. How do you want to solve this question? Fine, children. The method which you are finding easier for you, you can go with that. Now children, I am going to take question number 4. Prove that the tangents drawn at the end of the diameter of a circle are always parallel. So this is solution number 4. Just look at its diagram. Here is the circle. What has been given in the question? That the tangents drawn at the end of the diameter. Here children, this is complete. AB is a diameter. You know that diameter is double of radius. Okay. OA and OB, they both are radii of the circle, and complete AB is the diameter of the circle. Tangents drawn at the end of the diameter. Where are the ends? Point A as well as point B. They both are drawn. We have to prove that both the tangents are parallel to each other. Fine, children. So it is also a kind of theorem, I should say. So let us start. What has been given in this question? This is given. Let AB be the diameter of the circle. LM, this is complete LM, and PQ, this is PQ, be the tangents drawn to the circle at point A and B. Here at point A, LM is drawn at point B and PQ is drawn at point A. So we can say that point A and point B, they both are the points of contact. Why? Because what is point of contact actually? Where the line as well as the circle are going to touch with each other. Okay. So what we have to prove, children? We have to just prove that LM is parallel to PQ as per the question. Okay. Now what is its proof? Please look at the diagram first. Through diagram I am explaining, and then I will be explaining you the written proof also. As OA is radius and PQ is tangent. Children, what does theorem 10.1 says? What does it say? That radius is perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. In the same manner, OB is radius and LM is tangent. So OB is also perpendicular on LM. Why? Because radius is perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. If this part is of 90 degree, means OBM is of 90 degree, then while straight angle, as it is a complete straight line angle, na? Or you can call it a linear pair also, you can go for straight line angle. So this angle will also be of 90 degree. In the same manner, if it is of 90 degree, OAQ is 90 degree, then OAP will also be of 90 degree. Okay. Now, let us start its proof. We know that OA is perpendicular to PQ. Look, OA is perpendicular to PQ and OB is perpendicular to LM. OB is perpendicular to LM. Why? Because radius is perpendicular to the tangent at the point of contact. Children, just let me know one thing. As I have to prove that LM is parallel to PQ, so either of the three conditions of parallelism, I can prove any of them. Okay. Suppose this is of 90 degree. Why suppose? We know the reason behind it. This is of 90 degree and this is also of 90 degree. So they both are what kind of angles? They both are alternate interior angles. Fine. So if alternate interior angles are equal, then we can say that LM is parallel to PQ. For example, if we do not want to go with it, this is of 90 degree, this is also of 90 degree. 90 plus 90 are forming 180 degree sum. And what kind of angles they both are? They both are co-interior angles. If the sum of co-interior angle is of 180 degree, then we can say that the lines are parallel. So again, it depends on you. Which property do you want to go with? Okay, children. Now, here angle OAQ is 90 degree. OBM is also 90 degree. OBL also 90 degree. Why? Straight line angle, you can apply that property. Now, I am going to apply here alternate interior angle. So, what I have written? I have written angle OAQ is equal to OBL. Please check. OAQ is equal to OBL. Okay, what kind of angles they both are? They both are alternate interior angles. And children, we know when alternate interior angles are equal, then lines must be parallel. Means PQ is parallel to LM. Okay. So hence, the tangents drawn at the end of a diameter of a circle, they are always parallel. Hence proved. Understood, children? I hope you all may have understood whatever I have explained you today. Beta, this chapter is very simple. Okay, you have to just keep those two theorems in your mind and you will definitely be able to solve all the questions. Fine, children? Now this is the time to get mathematics homework. Please be ready. Children, your maths homework is that you have to revise theorems 10.1 and 10.2 and you have to do the questions 1, 3 and 6 of exercise 10.2 in homework notebook along with the classwork questions. Correct, students? So that's it for the day. Please like the video and do not forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you and have a nice day.